Dr. Ajay. So let's get online so we can start this program. Nice. We all set. Good evening, and welcome, everyone. Welcome to Medical Mondays with Dr. O. Tonight, it's a very special night, very close to my heart. Dr. Tony Okwesomi, I'm a family practitioner, HIV specialist, and I treat addictions in Maryland. I enjoy Monday nights at this time because I learned so much, and I'm able to, sometimes contribute something or the other as we dialogue. We have a lot going on in our community right now with education. And I started getting calls, anxieties from mothers and a few students about the need for funding and how their education is going to be funded. So I am so grateful because the Lord has put in my corner my darling sister, Mrs. Melissa Langley, who was able to get $14.7 million in scholarships, grants, and grants for our daughter. They work together to be able to get these grants and scholarships for college. So I called on her, and our conversation with me excited me so much that I can wait for her to share with us how funding college education is still a reality. And before I yield the floor to her, I just want to give her a huge kudos for who she is, for so much. I know she would complete this introduction by shedding more light, but I just want to appreciate Melissa from the bottom of my heart, and her husband, Sergeant First Class Langley, who stood by her and their daughter to attain this, amazing feat. So, without much ado, I'm going to yield the floor to our very able, amazing sis, Melissa Langley. The floor is yours. And
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. O, for inviting me back to Medical Mondays with Dr. O. This is my second time coming back. I enjoyed it so much the last time, trying to figure out the continent of Africa, as I've always shared with Dr. O, has a special place, not just in my heart, but in my soul. And I've really been the last call, it was kind of like, people were telling me where I'm from in Africa. So I'm dying to find.
I told you already where you're from. Let me help you again. You are Nigerian and you're from the Yoruba tribe. All Nigerians on this platform can look at you and look at your face and tell you you're Yoruba. Dr. Khadijat, Dr.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
look like a Ronke. I think we should just baptize her with that name.
Thank
She looks
you.
at Abeokuta.
Ronke.
Thank you. She looks at
Name
Abeokuta.
Ronke.
She's from
Ronke.
Abeokuta.
Ronke. Yeah.
She's from Abeokuta, ma.
Thank you.
Oh, we
Yeah.
have a Dr. Ronke. Oh my God, I did not even see that. Look, okay, now compare the smiles, both of them.
So,
Uh-huh.
Seriously. Yeah.
Melissa, Ronke
I just said that out of my head.
from Abeokuta.
Yep.
From
Yep,
Abeokuta.
totally.
So it's definitely my honor, and I've been, talking with Dr. O, just trying to figure out how I can continue to serve across the country, and particularly our community, and even encourage our people back home about education. And I know that, with our current administration that is in office, there is a lot of anxiety around how how people can afford college because of now of the new limitations that have been placed on ways to fund college with parents. So I wanted to come back on and shed some light on that information and then answer any questions that I can to be able to help anyone. If anyone has any specific questions or general questions, please feel free to stop me. I don't want it to be me just talking. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I would like to share my screen so I could share a video.
So if I may suggest, please hold
Yes.
the questions for
Okay.
after your presentation so that we can hear the full presentation and then people can ask the questions and otherwise you may not be able to complete that presentation. We love questions, you know. We do. So
Okay.
please hold it. You can raise your hand or put your questions in the chat box, you know, as you wish.
Okay. Awesome. Dr. O, can you allow me to share screen on your end?
There. You
Okay.
can, yeah.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. You're good. All right. All right. Can you see now? All right, so you guys will be able to see, this is my daughter here, Madison. She graduated with the class of 2024 in Liberty County High School in Hinesville, Georgia. And so when we started up the program, her company, once everything kind of took off. So I always like to share this video just so you all can get an idea of what we were able to do and why we are sharing this information.
Madison Crowell. Madison Crowell. Madison Crowell. Madison Crowell. Her achievement is remarkable. Gifted Georgia teen is making history, breaking the record for college acceptances and scholarships, and she ended up getting accepted to more than 200 colleges. More than 231 colleges who earned nearly $15 million. Nearly $15 million in scholarship. So here's what happened. Madison was accepted by 231 colleges and universities and was offered close to $15 million in scholarships. She wanted to show other kids in low-income communities that higher education is within reach. Which lucky college is getting this local star? She accepted a full scholarship to High Point University in North Carolina. High Point University. High Point University. High Point University. To study physical therapy. And eventually become a doctor of physical therapy. Serving underrepresented communities. High Point is an excellent school. My little cousin Bryson White actually is going to High Point University in the fall as well. I'm really excited about going to High Point to see what High Point has for me. We are looking forward to Madison Crowell being a part of our HBU family at High Point University in High Point, North Carolina. We welcome you to our HBU family. You're going to do exceptional things right here at the Premier Life Skills University, where we call everybody to be extraordinary. We know you'll be a leader. We know you'll make amazing things happen. We're here to resource you, cheer you on, and celebrate your victory. But for now, welcome to High Point University, and congratulations on your many outstanding achievements.
So that's a little video that we used to introduce Madison, just so you can see it was really hectic during her senior year because of her accomplishments. And one of the things that I've always raised Madison on is it's not just about what you accomplish that can help you, but it's what you do with that and how you reach back out to help other people. And so that's why we started Madison's company, The Sky Is Not the Limit, to allow our family and Madison to travel the country and speak to students and civic organizations and small groups and family groups, just like today, so we can share what we have what we've accomplished and what we've learned through the process, things we would have done differently, things that we did learn, things that we wouldn't do again, all of these different things. We didn't set out to do this particularly, but I'm glad for the experience to be able, because we kind of seen a lot of different scenarios. And so that helps us to help other families. So I like to, always show this screen because it shows everything that Madison was involved with, some of the things that she was involved with while she was in high school. Also, you know, that she was accepted into the 231 colleges, and she was rejected from 7. So I always tell students that you will experience rejection, but that's not the end of the world. You know, it's just not the opportunity for you at that time. And these are all of the different scholarships that she attained through, you know, that kind of makes up that 15 million. And now she is attending High Point University out in High Point, North Carolina, which is out by Greensboro, North Carolina, and majoring in exercise science and minoring in psychology and civic engagement to become a doctor of physical therapy for professional athletes. So we started this company so that we can share this information. So most of you who are in the States may have heard of the latest legislative act that came through, which is called the Big Beautiful Bill, through the President of the United States and Congress. And so that bill has a lot of ramifications on education that wasn't necessarily discussed, you know, when you hear it on the news. Mostly they talk about tax breaks and things of that nature for the wealthy, but it also has some serious implications for college. So one of the implications is now, as of today, parents can sign on for what we call a Parent Plus loan. So when your child goes to college, you can, a parent can sign on a loan to make up the difference for what the child didn't get through scholarships or financial aid or through a Pell Grant for their students. And then also students can get a small loan each year to help contribute towards their degree. Right now, the parent does not have a cap on how much they can take out in a loan to help pay for their child to go to school. Beginning in June of 2026, there will be a $65,000 lifetime cap per child, and you can only take out $20,000 per year per child. So that's not even, if the $20,000 is the max every year, they're not even giving you enough to cover 4 years. If you do 20 times 4, that would be $80,000, but they're saying $65,000 is the max. So that's one of the biggest things, because parents used to be able to take out whatever amount of loans that you can take out to be able to cover, you know, your child. And when I say take out loans, is take it out through the federal government. And obviously you still have the option of private loans through banks. So that, and we know that most people from low income areas and even in middle class probably may not be able to qualify for extensive amount of loans because they don't have the salary to be able to justify taking out, let's say on average, you know, $80,000 to $100,000 in loans. So that's one of the limitations that was put on education funding. The second one is they're no longer allowing students to take out loans from the federal government to pay for their your postgrad, like your postgrad degrees. So going to get your master's, going to get a professional degree if you want to become a medical doctor or you want to become a dentist or any of those things. Now you can only, the student can take out a loan, but it's up to a certain amount. The parent can't take out any more loans at that point for the child from the federal government for their master's and PhD degrees. And then for those who are looking to become doctors or go to law school or any of those specialty professions, now your loans are limited at those schools to $200,000 total. And we know that to become a medical doctor or a lawyer, it is very, very expensive. And so we want to make sure, I want to kind of put that information out there, but also share with you some information as to how there are other ways that you can, you know, go around that bill. Today, prior to me getting on the call, I was working on a financial aid appeal letter for 2 students who are now both, one is a rising incoming freshman and the other is a rising junior, who are going to unfortunately most likely have to drop out of school because they don't have the funding. And so I want to say that first thing is for parents to be honest with your children about what you can and cannot afford when it comes time to going to school. So there are a lot of different things that you can utilize, even in the high school level, to be able to lighten the bill for your, for college. So for instance, most schools offer dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is while your child is in high school, they can also take college courses. And pretty much every state in the United States have that, where the states are paying up to 30 credits, which is equivalent of 1 year for your child to go to college while they're in high school. So instead of them taking an English course in high school, they'll take it at college. It'll be a college level course, and that will not only satisfy their high school requirement, but it will also take care of that requirement at college. So when they are enrolled full-time in college, they will not have to take that. They will not. Oh, sorry. They will not have to take that that course again. And that is very important, that if you can, if your child can handle the rigor of college credits while at high school, it is highly recommended. And at this point, with our government doing what they just did, it's pretty much, I would want to say, it's imperative to take advantage of that opportunity for students to be able to attend college and let your state that you live in pay for that course. And so they pay for the up to the 30 credits. And then after 30 credits, because usually they allow students to start as early as junior year. And then if you have some students who are exceptional, there may even be opportunities for them to start at the sophomore year. And even if they want to go past the 30 credits, the parents can pay for the credits, but you're still not going to experience the amount of cost that a student would experience, because they'll be still staying home with you. They won't be, eating, a meal or anything. You won't have the necessary fees. And all of you have to do is pay your tuition. So it's very important, if you have students that can take college level courses while they're in high school, for sure to use that, because that to me is a form of scholarship from the state. If you don't use it once you're in high school and you graduate and you go to college, you lose that credit. So that's one of the opportunities that you can take advantage of. Secondly, in addition to that, also trying to think of staying in state instead of going out of state. And I'm not discouraging anyone from going out of state. You absolutely can. But if the funds are tight and you're not getting scholarships, then staying in state will also make it much cheaper than going out of state. Also, when you stay in state, most states have incentives for their students to stay and go into their state schools or even private schools in their state. And they usually, depending on the student's GPA, they usually will pay for a portion of your tuition. So for an example, in the state of Georgia, where we were when my daughter graduated, the state of Georgia had a program, and I'll show it to you here just to kind of give you an idea. But a lot of states, and I have this here because I did a virtual workshop yesterday, and I was telling different students how to get scholarships for their state. So for instance, you'll see I just had North Carolina, this is Florida, and I'll show you Georgia. So Georgia has two particular programs called the Hope and the Zell Miller scholarships. And these are for Georgia residents. So if you take any of your states, I spoke with someone earlier that lives, that's on the call, that lives in Pennsylvania. So you have to be a resident of the state that offers the program, and most of them still have the program because that's how they that's what they do with the lottery. This is how these scholarships are funded, through the lottery. So for the state of Georgia, if a student has a minimum of a 3.0 GPA and the 4 full rigor credits, and so that's your basic core classes, no ACT or SAT is required. They will then contribute somewhere up to 80% towards your tuition if you stayed in state at school. Okay. Also, if you have the Zell Miller Scholarship, if you're eligible for the Zell Miller Scholarship, these are the requirements. They would pay your full tuition at a public school in state, or they would pay partial if you went to a private school. So every state has these types of programs. I would tell you to speak with your guidance counselor if you have students that are in high school, and then ask them, what is our state's program that helps towards college tuition. If you want, I'll give my email address at the end. You can feel free to email me, and I have no problem to look up that information for your particular state. But these are some of the things that can help you put money towards your kids' education. Also, there are other ways into becoming, to achieving your goals. A lot of students, I've run into a lot of students that want to, become nursing. They want to go into nursing, right? And so most kids, they want to go to a 4-year school. But if you don't have, the money or the scholarships, there are other ways to becoming a nurse, like attending community college for 2 years and getting your associates in nursing. And then from there, going into a bridge program to go to your RN, to a BSN program, and then finishing up those 2 years. And then if you want to, take it higher to a nurse practitioner, then you can do that as well. But there are different ways. Sometimes we can't be so caught up on trying to get our children to go to big name schools, because at the end of the day, for a nurse, they just want to know, did you pass your NCLEX? No one's saying, hey, did you go to Harvard? Oh, if you didn't go to Harvard, we don't hire you as a nurse. They're not really asking that. They want to know, did you pass your testing that you needed to pass? So that's very important, to just kind of think of all different alternatives, because as many scholarships as they're out there, the truth of the matter is a lot of people don't want to put in the work that it takes. So out of all of the scholarships, my daughter, we tried to calculate how many scholarships she applied for in her senior year. She applied for well over 3,500 scholarships, and she only received 22. But those 22 is what paid for her college. But if you don't apply, if you get tired, we all get tired. But if you take yourself out of the game by not applying, then you don't know what you can win. So you're not going to win all the scholarships, but you just need, you may have 100 no's, but for that one yes could be the yes that's going to pay for your education. So that's very important to kind of identify all different routes for you to get into your and get to your end state, whichever degree that you are looking into. I wanted to share a few other slides that I have. This is one program for those of us who are in the States, the North Carolina Promise School programs. These are 4 schools in the state of North Carolina that if you decide to attend, the 4 schools are down here: Elizabeth City State University, Fayetteville State University, University of North Carolina, the Pembroke location, and Western Carolina. Anybody who lives in the state of North Carolina can pay $500 per semester. That's how much your tuition is going to cost, up to 15 credits. So for 5 classes, your tuition is only $500. You still have to pay your room and board and your fees, but your tuition is going to be substantially less than what you would pay at any school. And then out-of-state students, those who do not live in North Carolina, your tuition would be $2,500 per semester. And then you would have to pay your room and board and university fees. So you have that option for those 4 schools if you're interested in the state of North Carolina. And then here are some, if you are on social media, all of these pages on social media, they post scholarships, and I'll send this to Dr. O, so maybe she can send it out to you guys in an email. But I also, at the end of this presentation, there will be a QR code that you can scan as well with your phone, and that will give you access to this. But on these pages, they post tons and tons and tons. I mean, dozens of scholarships per day, each one of these pages. So I would highly recommend for you guys to follow them. These are the pages that Madison and I follow to find scholarships. And the 22 scholarships that she was awarded was through these pages. And then I find other pages and I add them here. So, you know, definitely I would use these to help you find scholarships. And then here are some additional scholarships. I kind of broke out some of the HBCUs from the other universities, and it is a myth that HBCUs do not offer scholarships, or they do not offer full ride scholarships, and they absolutely do. So here are some scholarships for HBCUs that are here that you can. These are the names of the HBCUs, and then these are the actual names of the scholarships. So these are here. And again, I will send this all to Dr. O, and you can scan the QR code at the end. Here are some additional these are some additional, let me see, HBCU scholarships, this page as well. I know that Howard University is always very, a lot of people like to go to that school. Xavier University is a big school.
No, that's okay. I'll just eat that. Oh.
Xavier
I'll just
University is a big school for those who may be looking. They produce the most doctors out of all HBCUs. So Xavier University out in Louisiana is a good school to look at as well. Anyone that looks to go to be a veterinarian, Tuskegee University is another good school that produces the most veterinarians coming out of HBCUs. And then here are just scholarships that you can take to any college. This particular scholarship, the Coolidge Scholarship, is for juniors only. And then also the good thing at the end, if you scan the QR code, all of these are hyperlinks, meaning that they'll go right to the scholarships web page and take you there. So you just click on the link there. And then these are some additional national scholarships. Anyone that's interested in going to a HBCU, this particular scholarship, the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, is an organization that offers scholarships, particularly for HBCU students and African-American students. That is going to be your greatest resource for any students that are looking to go to HBCUs, as well as the UNCF Fidelity Scholarships are all specifically for us and for those who are looking to go to HBCUs. And some additional scholarships here that I listed. And then these are some need-based scholarships. So if we have students who are exceptional learners, meaning that they do very well, that they might be able to get into an Ivy League or a really prestigious school. Some of these schools like Duke University and Vanderbilt University, if the parents make under $150,000, you can go to Duke. They will pay your full tuition. You would just have to pay room and board. This is a big one that I know Dr. O and some of my other doctors that are on the call would appreciate. Johns Hopkins University announced this year that for medical school, they are offering students, if your family makes less than $175,000 and you get accepted into Johns Hopkins University, you can go for a full ride, meaning they would pay for everything. And anyone that knows how much medical school is, I'm sure Dr. O can tell you, medical school is very expensive, not just to go to medical school, but even while you're a student. Because you have to have a place to live and you're not really working. So you don't have the time to have another job. So it's very expensive. So Johns Hopkins University, if your parents make less than $175,000, then you can go to their school for free if you get accepted. And then if they make less, between $175,000 and $300,000, then you would get your full tuition paid for. Princeton University also does the same thing, as well as Brown, Cornell, and Columbia and MIT. They all have these programs that are need-based based on the salaries of your parents, the students' parents. And then here's the QR code that I was talking about at the end. If you want, you can feel free to scan this QR code, and the presentation will go on your phone. If not, I will send it to Dr. O, where she can send it out to everyone so that you can have access to it through your email. And remember also, I offered, if anyone has any questions or you need me to look up your state specifically with regards to the state scholarships that may be available to you and your student, you can always feel free to email me at the snlgoals24@gmail.com. That's my email address. Feel free to email me there, and I'm happy to answer any questions and assist in any way that I can from the presentation. I don't know if anyone has any answers that I could any questions that I could answer for you.
Thank you so, so much. Wow.
Absolutely.
I have a question. But before I ask my question, I want to thank Dr. and Dr. Ajay because they have put this screen in the chat box also.
Thank you.
So, and I'll be copying and pasting as we go along. So if you pull this down so I can see hands and all, that'll be great.
Yes,
They
absolutely.
quickly have put that there. I'm so excited they did that for us. I have a question for you.
Yes.
What about those students who have finished high school, they already admitted to college, they're going to college, or they are already in college?
Mm-hmm.
And what resources and what can they do? That's one. And the high schoolers, I hope to God that they got what you just said about, the 30 credits, not just that. Middle school, high school is when to start this.
Mm-hmm.
When you are in 12th grade and all, it's a little bit getting late in the game, but it is not a lost cause. So
Right.
what about those who are in college already?
Yes. So for those who are in college, that page that I shared that had the scholarship resources, the with the social media websites, the good thing about them is they not only post scholarships for incoming freshmen, they post scholarships for college students at any grade level. In addition, they post for people who are looking to go to master's or their PhD degrees. They also have scholarships for adults who may be interested in continuing their education, which right now I am actually going back to school to obtain my bachelor's. So I've been applying myself for scholarships so that I could pay for my degree. So yeah, so they have all type of scholarships for people at all grade levels. So you don't, and also it's not just for high school. There are going to be scholarships on there for middle school students, and not just seniors, but high school throughout the whole year, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So I always tell people Madison's first scholarship was in the 7th grade that went towards her high school. She got a Born to Be a Natural Leader scholarship, and it was for $250. And she had to complete a 6-week program. She had to come up with a capstone project, which she did, and she presented it. And it was a virtual organization because it was students from all across the country. And that $250, lit a flame for not just Madison, but for our family to help continue to go towards what she's looking for. So you can, to answer your question, Dr. O, you can also go into those websites or those web pages to find scholarships. And I think that there were a few other questions. And you guys can see Madison, she's home from college.
Madison, nice to meet you finally.
You guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a stellar, student. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Could you
There's a
share?
question there. It says,
Yeah.
"Can you share which scholarships your daughter won?"
Yes. So one of the scholarships that she won that pays for the bulk of her education is called the Bonner Leader Scholarship. That scholarship goes for programs. I think it's about, let me see, I can pull up the names of the schools, but they offer scholarships for students at these schools. And the scholarships at every school, it varies, but at the minimum, it will pay full tuition for your students. So I'm just going to share my screen really quickly again, Dr. O, so I can share these schools so that they can see. And I'll put this website in the chat. But here are all the schools that's under the Bonner program that are across the country that you could apply for the Bonner Scholarship. So Madison School is High Point, North Carolina. High Point University, and you'll see that right here. But it also has other schools, like in New Jersey, you have Rutgers. It also has Spelman and Morehouse, University of North Carolina and Wilmington. There's a lot of different schools that participate in this program, and you would apply to their program through the school that you are interested in. And so that particular scholarship for Madison pays her tuition, it pays for her books, and it pays for all of her fees that's associated with going to school. And she also gets a monthly stipend. And then for the other scholarships, there are small scholarships that we just applied to that helps contribute towards her room and board. So I don't remember a lot of the names of them because they're like 21. But yeah, but they're all there on those pages. But the Bonner Scholarship, if you are thinking about any of those schools, this one, the Bonner Scholarship, has to be you coming in during your freshman year. I don't know if they pick up students who are maybe passed through their freshman year, but it is a really good program to be if you can get in. And they usually take a cohort of about 16 students per year where they do that. And there's some interviews involved and everything, but it's a really good program. They focus on leadership capabilities and the work that you've done. One of the things that I didn't mention during my interview, I talked about, on that second slide, all of the things that Madison was involved in. It's very important for you to allow your students to be involved in school and in the community. Don't just allow your students to go to school and come home and that's it. They have to do something outside, something that doesn't serve themselves, but serve others. And then also, obviously, if they have a job, that is great. But you want them to be fully rounded because there are a lot of smart students out here. There are a lot of students with 4.0s, and that no longer is the criteria for you to be able to get scholarships. They're looking for people who have a heart to serve, who have leadership experience, even at the high school level. They're looking for people who are ambitious, who are self-starters, and don't need to be directed every 5 minutes. So, these are the skills that they can build while they're in college. So making sure you are, engaged in college, in high school, with extracurricular activities, community service, and employment, if that is what you want, and making sure that you can show that on your resume. So I hope that answered your question, Iwa, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. I had Francis asking, when is the best?
One minute.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the answer, by the way. Auntie Tower, you have your hand raised. Kindly
okay.
mute and ask your question. So if you like your question answered quicker, raise your hand and ask yourself, and then, we'll revert back to the chat box as soon as we can. Auntie Tower, kindly unmute. Yes.
Good evening, Mrs. Langley. Thank you for this wonderful information.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
My question is, when do they start applying for this scholarship? What grade?
So you can apply for scholarships. Most of them you will find starting at middle school, as early as the 5th grade. But there are some scholarships. We had a student in Liberty County in 2024. She was in pre-K, and she got a $1,500 scholarship towards college. So you can start as early as middle school. The page that I put on, and I will put it in the chat, but that shows the different resources where you can go and find scholarships. They post scholarships for all grade levels. So don't wait until senior year to look for scholarships. You can start looking for scholarships now. Also, do not wait for senior year to prep for your ACT and SAT tests, because a lot of students who wait until their senior year to do your testing for your ACT and SAT, or a test that you need to take in order for you to go to college. It's like an academic test. Some schools, when COVID started, they went test optional, but some schools are not remaining test optional. They're going back to requiring the test. And when we wait until the senior year and our children have not been exposed to that test, it makes it really hard for them to do well on the test, because they don't have a lot of time to, because a lot of this stuff they would have never seen before, been exposed to. So it's really important that they start taking that test. They have the PSAT that you can start taken as early as ninth grade, but you can always take the ACT and SAT on your own starting in the ninth grade.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Thank you.
this money's Andy Tower, once you start getting these grants or applying to them, there's an account that it goes to for college. Would you like to talk to us about that? The account that this goes to, that it accumulates in?
Are you asking me or Miss Tara?
No, asking you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
want her to know. She wants to know when, what age to start and all of that. But what account does it go to? Because it's not like the money goes to the parents and the
Oh,
whole.
yes. So usually it can happen two ways. So the scholarship organization will either have you open up what they call a 529 account, and that's an education savings account. And that education savings account does not allow you to take that money out for any reason outside of education. And so they will either deposit that money there. The second way is actually three ways. The second way, they may hold the money for the student and wait for the student to become of age and enroll in college. And then that money will be sent directly to your child's school. And the third way is they may wait until your child gets of age and is going into college, and some organizations will send a check directly to you once you can prove that you are enrolled in college. So those are three ways. So you have your 529, which the 529s you open in the state that you live in. And you can go to, just Google how to open up a 529 in Georgia, and it will go through the process of how you are to open up that 529. And not only can that scholarship money go into it, but you also can contribute money yourself to the 529 go towards that will go towards your child's education. And like I said, the money that is in there is for education purposes only. However, if your child gets of age and they say they do not want to go to college, then you would have to you can withdraw it at that time, but there would be a penalty fee on it to withdraw it if you go out to your 529.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Dr. Alu asked, when is the best time to start applying for scholarship for high school scholars? I guess
Ninth
you
grade.
said that, ninth grade. It's even middle school, start in middle school.
Yes, you can start in middle school, but as soon that there is no wait time for them to start applying. They literally can apply ASAP.
So Sister Lola says, thank you, Mrs. Langley. Do you have information for medical school students?
I don't have any particular specific information for medical school students outside of what I shared with Johns Hopkins University. However, there is a mentorship program that I did share with one of our students who was in our last meeting. I think Dr. O and you and you and her mom had been talking. And so there is, I'm going to look it up here and put the link, but it is an organization that is made for African-American people who are looking to become doctors, and they provide a mentorship program. They also provide funding for your student to take your MCAT, go through your interviewing process. They do your mentor that's assigned to you will provide mentorship and help you with your interview process and all the fees and everything that you have to do to become a doctor. So I'm gonna look that up right now so that I can put it in the chat.
Thank you.
It's called 15 black, I think it's the 15 white coats. I'm gonna double check. I'll put that's what it's called, 15 white coats. And so I'll put the link here in the chat so you guys can have it for those who may be looking to become doctors or who are doctors. That's a great organization for you to look into.
Fantastic. Yeah, I remember we talked a lot about that one. Auntie Tower, you have your hand raised, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I have one dog that is going crazy. That's why I couldn't, my questions were
The
too
dog
fast.
wants to participate.
No, he's crazy. Mrs. Langley,
Yes,
like
ma'am.
your daughter that has so many scholarship, what at the end, she didn't use everything. What happens to that money?
Oh, yes. So I like to talk about that. That's a good question. So people think that we now have just $15 million. We do not. So how it works is any of the scholarships that she got directly from all the schools, all the schools that she didn't go to, that money goes back to those schools. Private scholarships, however, when she starts winning the private scholarship, someone asked about where does the money go when you win scholarships at an early age or what have you before you get ready to go to college. Some of that money, if they don't send it to a 529, they'll send it to the school. Some of that money came directly to Madison. The money that went to the school, once we had a zero balance, Madison then gets a refund check for that money that she won if it had to go to the school directly. Ideally, you don't want it to have to go to the school, but if it does, then they will send the money back to you. However, there are opportunities where some schools, they will do what we call scholarship replacement. So let's say if Madison School gave her full ride off of the bat, and we had another $20,000 in private scholarships. If High Point University was a school that practiced scholarship replacement, what they would do is they would lessen her scholarship that they offer her by $20,000 so that they can keep that money and don't have to get it back to Madison. So for people who are looking into college and you're getting scholarships, you do want to ask and I'll put this in the chat, ask if the school is a scholarship replacement school, because if they are, you want to try to get scholarships that can come directly to you and you can use it, to pay directly to the school. But if your school gives you a significant amount of scholarships, you don't want them taking their money back only to replace it with the other scholarship money, because there's other things that you can do that may not be covered by scholarships, like books. And books are very expensive. My daughter's biology book was almost $300. And so that's one book. And then you have to have lab material. And so those scholarship money can cover those types of fees that you would need to pay for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So, Dr. Khadija is on, and recently she invited me to a program that she had, and I know about this 529. Melissa and I, we've talked about it. We've worked with different mothers with this and stuff like that. So I was familiar with that, but then I heard about something else, something different. So I'm putting her on the spot because I didn't tell her I just want her to say something about it. But Dr. Khadija, before you unmute, I see a hand raised. Nkechi, how are you, darling? Kindly unmute.
I'm doing good, ma.
Akalema. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Yeah, fine. Ma'am, thank you for all this information that you shared. I'm so grateful because I also have a child that's about going to college or needs scholarships to go to school, and not just him and me too. So I have a question about a PhD program. Can we also get scholarship that could help us um, complete or start a PhD program? And what can you also do to help me with my young son that is needing a lot of scholarship? So if you can please pass that information to Dr. O, I'll be very grateful.
Were you on this program from the beginning?
Yes, I saw all the program. I saw everything. I was listening
Okay, the Scantron, there's a Scantron on there in the chat
at
box.
the end. Uh-huh.
Now, if you please, scan that, it has all the website
Okay.
that you can take a look at to apply for scholarships that meet your needs. There's an important thing with applying for these scholarships. Read the instructions, read their requirements, and see that you meet them. Once you meet them, 1, 2, 3, your chances of getting them are very high. For any scholarship or grant, that is important. I will still post them. Everything sends to me, I'm going to put them in the email or and on WhatsApp. But please scan that so you can get started.
Okay.
Melissa, anything else you want to add to our question?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. So yeah, the for your son, definitely a lot of the information that's on the presentation would help him. PhD, I know that is a little bit more challenging and getting scholarships for PhD programs. On occasion, on the page that I just posted in the chat with the scholarship resource pages, I do see some PhD program scholarships. So I would say to make sure that you're going on Facebook and Instagram and following these accounts. And like I said, they do post them daily. Each page, dozens of scholarships daily. So there may be some opportunities there for you, but definitely for your son, they would be there. But there may be some PhD opportunities that will come available to you as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
But
Absolutely.
I'll revert back to you with everything that is sent to me, including all of this.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
it is missed. Okay.
And thank you to those that's already, I can see people going in and viewing the presentation. I can see it on my program on the other side. So thank you to all the people that are already going on there. That's awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yes. Dr. Khadija, kindly unmute and share with us because, we're talking about starting this thing. Oh, Dr. Khadija, you have to wait again.
It's okay.
You have to wait again. Sister Wumi comes in. Kindly unmute. I'm sorry, they have preference because I'm bringing you in without warning. Kindly unmute.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Welcome. Yes, we can.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for the information. This is really critical, and I'm glad that we're talking about this. I just wanted to add to the 529 plan. I'm glad that you mentioned the 529 plan. I don't know that we need to wait till when we get scholarships or when we apply for scholarships. We can start a 529 plan as soon as the child is born.
Yes.
So as soon as the child is born, we can start a 529 plan. I mean, my kids are grown now, they're adults, so I'm done with all that. But what I'm doing for my nieces and nephews is
And
urging
preparing
the
for the
parents,
grandchildren.
the grandchildren, urging the parents to open a 529 plan. So every birthday, instead of buying them junk or whatever, you put it in that account. And that gains interest and it goes on and on and on. So when you start that when a baby is born, can you imagine how much money will be there by the time they turn 18 or 19 or 20? So that's one thing that I wanted to add, that we can start our 529 plan now. We don't have to wait till we
Absolutely.
apply for scholarships. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, because that is so true. And like, your kid is not going to remember what you gave them for their second birthday. They barely can remember the Disney World trip, you know what I mean? But this can carry them on forever. So absolutely, I think that's an excellent idea.
And to add more to it, even the parents, you can ask them when anybody. So I have a niece that every birthday she sends out a link of what the kids want, and then she'll put the link of the 529 plan in there. So for family members or friends, I want to give gifts to her kids. It's like, here's the link. You can't be ashamed. Just send it to them and say, here, just put some money. Even $10 is not even too much. Any amount works. So that would be a good thing for people if they can start doing it now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That is critical. Today is the day to start. Dr. Khadija, kindly unmute.
Yes, I have
I,
again,
I
Dr.
heard this.
O.
I heard this thing about IUL 7022.
7702 is an apple in front of it.
702.
72702. 7702. It's let me start by introducing myself. I am Dr. Khadijat, a pharmacist, but also a financial literacy educator. And like Dr. O rightly said, she was at my event, July the 5th, which I filmed alongside with Independence, not just liberation, but financial liberation. And also, let me congratulate Miss Langley's daughter. I don't think I recall her name because
Madison, thank you.
Madison. Yeah, congratulations, Madison, and to Mamasville, the parents. So for me, part of what you mentioned, right, in the medical realm, in the practicing physicians, pharmacists, nurses, we're kind of benchmarked that as soon as you make a certain amount of money, then you do not qualify for these things. Mind you, you advise for parents to check what are the qualifications for these scholarships. So we term this on my forum as merit-based scholarships. And I think Madison had a 4.0.
She had a 3.89.
3 point, right. That's kind of close to. Not every family can boast their kids will have that.
Right.
And even if a child is within the range of 3.4 point, they have to fight to get the scholarships. So now what I presented at the event Dr. O attended is what we call need-based scholarship that anybody can qualify for or pay token into it to acquire this. 529, like she said, she's heard of before. It's something you walk into a bank and ask to open for a newborn as long as they have a social security, right? It's a good plan, but you also mentioned the downside. Every portfolio, just like in drugs, right? We have medication to take care of your health, but then it comes with a side effect, the downside of it. 529 is tax exposed, is exposed to the market versus an IUL that Dr. O just learned from my program. IUL is index based. It works in the market, but takes the gain from the market, and then it has a downside stopgap. And then it works more than just to care for your child's education. It has no less than 5 uses that you can use an IUL for. And IUL actually stands for Index Universal Life. I'm not sure if all of us on this forum are familiar with it. So that's the comparison, very briefly.
Okay.
I don't know if I touched on what you actually wanted me to.
Thank you. Thank you
nail.
very much. And thank
Yes,
you,
Dr.
because I saw you on and I put you on this spot. So, Melissa, this is what I learned. And everybody on the platform, this is what I learned. And I'm going to summarize it in simple English. That from when your child is 2 weeks old, you can start an IUL for them that can be utilized for college, period. That's it. That's the long and short of it.
Yes.
So you start it is tax-free, and when you start getting the money out, and say you start it on a child, and it doesn't have to be for that particular child. If you need it for another child, or they decide not to go to college or anything like that, you're not losing anything. The money is there to do other things, or to do other things they want to do or that you want to do. That's what I learned in there, and I thought it was a valuable thing to look at, to look into from when a child is like 15 days. I say 8 days because we give names in our culture at 8 day, and everybody gives money. They contribute money or contribute things. Tell them not to bring diapers and all of that. Contributing to the IUL is what I would say. And then you can start that for the child. So I thought that was really cool. I actually talked about you, Melissa.
Yeah, she actually mentioned you at the event, and I thought like I was gonna need to speak with you because I needed to understand if she had I wouldn't say she didn't have all the facts in place, but you clarified along the way here because there was someone thinking now you have $15 million in your bank account. I knew that wasn't the case,
Right.
Yes, and absolutely, this is a vehicle even for us adults. Dr. Ho, remember, we mentioned that kids are not supposed to come out of college and start paying back the student loans like they own a mortgage, without owning a home, or parents using their life savings or their retirement income to send their kids to college. But there's a way around it to be a win-win. Child goes to college, parent retires the way they want to retire, either living the same lifestyle or even better. So I did put my information in the chat. Should anybody want to reach out to me, Dr. Khadija, 240-432-3772. And thank you so much, Dr. O.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr.
Or
Khadija.
you can reach out to me also, and I will do the connect and help you more. These things are simple. Yeah, I don't like when it's a little bit long. I get confused. But the bottom line is you can, start much earlier than we thought. So
Yes.
thank you for being allowed to be put on the spot. I have
You're
a
welcome.
question in the chat box.
Yes, I saw the question.
Yeah, just
You want me to answer?
I would like to read it out for the
Yes.
benefit of the audience. So, just to clarify, if the school isn't a replacement for your college scholarship, do you happen to know how long the college is willing to hold the scholarship for you? I would really like for them to keep your spot open in case you decide to return and use it. Do you know if there's a specific time frame the college will be open to, or if there's any flexibility for you to come back later? Just thinking ahead. Thanks so much for the hard and great work. Yes, thank you. So you have the floor again.
Yes, so just two things I want to clarify. So scholarship replacement, what that is if you're bringing in private scholarships, your private scholarship will replace some of the money that the school awarded you. If they're not a scholarship replacement school and you decide to go there, then any money that's in excess of your total cost of attendance will be refunded to the student. So that's how that goes. Now, if you decide not to go to a school and you go to another school, schools they're not obligated to hold your scholarship or your spot. Once, usually during your senior year, you have to pay your deposit by May 1st of your senior year to claim your spot in the school. Now, what will happen is schools will continue, or what has been our experience, schools will continue to reach out to you during the course of your first year and telling you that they will honor their original scholarship and acceptance. And they would, if you want to come and transfer during your second semester in college or your sophomore year in college, and they would reinstate your scholarship. But other than that, they do not hold that money because that money then can be reallocated to students who then did decide to go to that school. So your private scholarships, at the end, when it's time for you to select your school, you'll have to tell them again for the final time where to send your money, and you would tell them to send it where you're going. So if they're not a scholarship replacement school, that money will come back to you. If they are, then they will take that money, they will lessen the amount they awarded you to intake the money that you got through a private scholarship. But for the most part, schools do not hold spots because they want to be able to fill their seats for their semester.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah, excellent question. Wow, this has been great. Yeah, thank you so much. Good information, Dr. Clementina said. So, whew, I hope this has been helpful, and I hope it relieves um, the anxieties that a lot of our community has been having with funding education in light of this bill that just came out, and funding education generally. So please, I'm going to ask that you please take note of Melissa's email. She responds to email. She's there to assist anytime. Please, if you have any questions. And also, I'm going to send everything she sends me, everything she promised, she will send me. Trust me. And I will send them to you by email and by WhatsApp. Share wildly, please. Let's get educated. Let's not let anything around us stop us from getting educated. Our children are our future. They need to be educated. And also, before I yield back to Melissa to give us closing remarks, I just want to mention a few things that this weekend is the African Ambassadors Summit, and I've been sending that out. Please register to attend. It's very important if you can. It's very important, the things you will learn, the networking and, bridging Africa, bringing Africa together. Now, there is a survey that Dr. Malcolm, Dr. Malcolm is Medical Mondays family. He has been on the platform. He has educated us here before. He sent this survey on the political and economic sentiment survey. And it's a survey that is asking for us to please participate in and make your voices heard on the state of affairs in Nigeria and for your aspirations for the future direction of the country. It's very important. Let's get our voices heard. We're always complaining that in the diaspora, nobody's paying attention to us. Please click on it now in the chat box. And if you can't do that, look forward to it. I'll be sending it to you. I'll be sending information from Melissa, information for the African Ambassadors Summit, and the survey. Please make them priority for us. Thank you. So now, and I forgot the suya, Obalende suya. If you don't like suya, please order it to my address. Private chat me for my address and order Obalende suya. I enjoy it. I would love that gift. But
Doctor, how can we order it in California? My son likes suya so much. He's been asking me.
Obalende Suya is in California. Please, Dr. Ogunleye, can you please post the website again for me in the chat box? It's in California. We in the East Coast are ordering it from California.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fresh. Yeah, she'll post it in the chat box, please.
Dr. O, the Obalende suya makes a great entertainment for guests too. So you can freeze it, buy a lot, and just pull it out of the freezer. Voila, you're entertaining.
Yes.
Oh, wow, me tell me.
Kindly put it in the chat box, please, Dr. Ogunleye. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Veronica. On point. Thank you. So, guess what? We're going to order Obalende Suya and send to Melissa. And then I want your candid opinion after you check it out, after you try it.
I sure will. I'm sure I'm going to like it.
Fantastic. So I'm going to yield back to you to give us.
Thank you so much, Dr. O.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Dr. V.
For blessing us like that. Melissa.
I would like to take this time again to thank Dr. O for the opportunity. It is always an honor to serve my people with the information that I've learned to give it back. That's one of the things that I have always loved about the African culture. And I've never been, but I'm going. Dr. O is taking me. And so I cannot wait, but it's just, even at the beginning of the call, when you all were speaking, your language,
Mama, check for no burning. See if, oh, sorry.
Check for no
Oops.
burning.
I get goosebumps because I know that my heart and my soul is tied there. I want to encourage us all to not be discouraged by the obstacles that are being purposely placed in our way to keep us from attaining our education. This is not the worst thing that was done to us, and we have overcome it all, and we will overcome this as well. My email is in the chat. Please do not hesitate to call me or email me with any questions that you may have, and I'm always happy to be able to help in any way that I can. Thank you all again for attending, and thank you, Dr. O, for the opportunity. I wish each of you a blessed evening and the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you.